Okay guys, after my 10 delicious aubergine recipes last year, I fancied doing something a bit different, and this is an Imam Bayildi. Roughly translated means that the Imam fainted when he tasted this gorgeous dish. I've trawled the internet, I've found various ways of doing it, and I have been as authentic as possible in keeping this in its original form, especially with the preparation of the aubergines. Many sites say to cut them in half, but you don't do that. Anyway, on with the ingredients. A couple of aubergines, some tomatoes, an onion, peppers of your choice, red and green authentic, I didn't have any green ones, a clove of garlic, I'm using elephant garlic for this, a shed load of parsley, some olive oil, loads of oil in this dish, and a couple of different peppers. I've got Aleppo pepper and Aubergine, which is very good because it tastes of raisins and chocolate. I think that's about it, so on we go. So first up, we need to prep the aubergines. This is one of those things that's probably easier to watch than to describe. And like I said, some of the recipes say to cut these in half. You don't do this. This is a stuffed aubergine dish, not stuffed halves of aubergine dish. So cut the bottom of the aubergine off, and then carefully peel back the green calyxes, I suppose you'd call them, the green bits on top, and then cut round the stem with a knife and pull the green bit off. And like I said, it's easier to watch than it is to talk about. So they look like this. Take a paring knife or a potato peeler and slice off strips of skin, just so it looks like a zebra. I did one side, then the opposite side, and then the ones in between. Cover them generously with some salt, rub it in a little bit and set to one side. About a tablespoon, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to wipe it off later anyway. I'm going to prep my veg all in one go, just to get it out of the way really. You can do it as you go along, but I find this easier. So top, tail, peel and slice your onion. Just an average slice for these, not too thin, not too thick, medium. That'll do, medium. Dice the tomatoes. No need to peel and core them for this recipe. Just a coarse dice really. What's that, 3 cuts one way, 3 or 4 cuts the other way? Yeah. There's a little bit of faffing around with the parsley preparation. We want to cut the stalks off. Now, it doesn't matter if you leave some stalks on because they cook down dead soft anyway, but we're going to use the stalks, especially the long stalks, as a mini trivet really. Just keep the aubergines off the base of the baking dish. Once you've got the stalks off, you can see there's quite a few long ones stuck in there still. Just give it a rough chop, set it to one side. Peppers next. I used 3 of these mini colourful ones from Tesco. I've run out of my own. These are a sweet pepper. You can use spicy pepper, spicy chilies if you want. Take the tops off, cut them in half, scoop out the pith and the seeds, and then slice them. And to be fair, these weren't too seedy, so I may have got away with just slicing these up. Peel and slice your garlic. Like I said, I'm using elephant garlic for this. If you're using normal garlic, 2 or 3 cloves will do. On with the cooking of the stuffing. A good glug of extra virgin olive oil. Now, I don't normally use extra virgin olive oil for cooking like this, but all the recipes said to use it, so who am I to argue? In with the onions, and a note to the wise, don't use a silicone spatula, they tend to melt. And cook the onions until they are soft and translucent. In with the peppers and garlic. Bit of slow-mo there for effect. A good teaspoon of salt. Give it a good stirring in. And in with the chilli flakes of your choice. Like I said, I'm using Aubergine for its raisin and chocolatey taste, and some Aleppo pepper. These are quite mild really. They've only got a 1 out of 5 rating on the packet. Let the peppers soften down, then in with the tomatoes. And we're going to cook this until the tomatoes release all of their juices. More about this later. That took about 5 minutes with the lid on, so off with the lid, off with the heat, in with the parsley. Now, there's a lot of parsley there, that's half a litre jug. I used about 2/3 of it. I was going to save the rest for dressing later on. When the stuffing is cooled for a couple of minutes, plonk it into a sieve over a bowl to save all those lovely juices. We'll need those later on. A quick peek at what has drained out already. Time to fry the aubergines. So a couple of tablespoons of olive oil into the frying pan. Wipe the salt off the aubergines and pat them dry. Into the pan and fry them gently, about 2 minutes on every cut surface. So what's that, about 8 to 10 minutes overall really? Nearly finished cooking, so grab your baking dish, line the base with the trimmed parsley stalks. And place the aubergines on top. Make a slit in the aubergines starting about 1 centimetre from the top, finished about 1 centimetre from the bottom, and only cut through to 1 centimetre from the base. Grab a couple of spoons and split the slit open. Proper spoon's what you'd better here, Steve. And then just pack the aubergines solid with the stuff in. I tell you what, I could eat this now. Pop a piece of tomato on top of each one and then pour over the reserved juices. Now this is where I was saying we'll come back to this later. There weren't enough juices. We need about 1 centimetre deep in the bottom of the dish. It just wasn't enough there, so I grabbed a jar of passata, diluted it down a bit and poured that in as well with a bit of extra water. Pop the dish in the oven, 220 Celsius, about 30 to 40 minutes. The top should be brown and the juice is bubbling. Here we go. Like I said, oil is the key to this dish, like a lot of mezes actually, so another splash of extra virgin olive oil over the top. And allow it to cool for an hour or so before tasting.
Right, back in a few hours. Okay then, here we go with Imam Bayildi. Take a bit of the middle. That really is quite tasty. Ooh, something a bit different, that's for sure. Nice one.
Well, hope you enjoyed this one, guys. It certainly didn't make me faint like the fabled Imam, but it's certainly on my list to do again for a set of cold mezes. I even saved one for later. Take care, guys. Catch you on the next recipe.